Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome back to Hooked by Yaz. We are fishing competition once again this weekend, and we are fishing local, so it's the False Bay coast. And my target species for this weekend will be cob, and obviously we'll scratch for whatever there is. This will be the last weekend that we will be able to weigh in Galjoen, as the season closes on the 15th of October, and also Elf, or also known as Shad, the season has closed already. So yeah, let's do some traces. Okay, so this weekend for my sliding, I'm taking out the Penn Spinfisher 6500. I've got my mono on here so that I can obviously slide with the reel. And then for scratching, I've got my Adrenaline Swage 6000. I love this little reel, super solid reel. So I will be scratching with this reel for the competition. So when I target cob and I slide, the preferred hooks that I use is the Sensation Pro 6.0, as well as the Kamagatsu Inline Octopus Circle 7.0. And then the slide that I use is the Fishing Buddy 3/4 ounce slide, and then I use a 0.80 fluorocarbon. Okay, so the length of my fluorocarb, I have him about 900 to a meter, and then I just snip it off. And then the first thing you do is with your J hook, you make a figure of 8 knot. So you take the line, you put it through the back of the eye of the hook, and you come around your finger one more time, you slide him through the back, and then you have your figure of 8. It should look like something like that. And then I snip off a small piece of the stag end, right? And that's before I cinch the knot down onto the hook. I lubricate him, and then this little piece that I cut off over here, I put it at the bottom of the eye of the, or sorry, on top of the eye of the hook. Like so. And then I just pull tight. This is going absolutely nowhere. And the reason for this little piece of line here is that when you put your J hook in the close to the tail of the mullet, your hook stands out nice and proud, and it doesn't move side to side, and it basically stands still over there, right? So that is the first part of the trace done. And then with your circle hook, we're going to make a snell knot or a knotless knot, whatever you want to call it. So what you do with this is you go in by the front of the hook, the front of the eye, and you pull him down. Depending on the size of your mullet, that is the space that you're obviously going to have between the two hooks. So I have mine maybe about 20 centimeters, right? So you remember, you go in by the front of the eye of the hook, and then you just turn him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then remember, you went in by the front of the hook the first time, and then when you come out of the back, right? And you just give him a little bit of a tug, and there we go. That is your sliding trace done. And then obviously your slide you attach. I attach it with a figure of 8 as well. A figure of 8 for me just works very well, and it never slips and breaks off, right? So basically you go through the swivel, and then you go around your index finger once, you go around your index finger twice, you pull that little loops that you have around your finger out, and then you go through there, and then you have your figure of 8. You lubricate him, and you pull, and then you just snip off your tag end, And then there you go. That is your slide rig for your livey. Okay, so there are a lot of ways that people tie the mullet. This is my preferred way, where I have two split rings joined, and then I just have a heat shrink over the one. So you can use the pipe from the, let me just show you. So a lot of people use this pipe and they prefer this pipe, but I obviously prefer this. So just through the heat shrink, you take the hook, you put it through the heat shrink, like so. There we go. And then obviously your cable tie goes through here, and Bob's your uncle. Done is done. So yeah, sorted. And then when I'm fishing for steenbras or for Bellman or Gully or whatever other species there is that we're scratching for, I have the Kingfisher pink fluorocarbon. This is a 0.40, 11 kilo breaking strength. And then my absolute favorite hook is the Rock Point. This thing is super sharp. If the fish comes past and he just sniffs onto this hook, fast, and he's not coming off. And then my second best hook is the Daiichi. This is the 10 black. And then capsule floats, and then obviously I use the toothpick to keep the floats into place. So yeah, let's make a scratching taste. Okay, so when I'm fishing for these species, right, in the surf especially, I usually go quite a long hook trace and then a much shorter sinker trace. So this is about a meter, 1.1 meters, and then you just snip that off. And then I prefer to use J hooks when scratching. My success rate is just a little bit better than what it is with a circle hook. So what I do is, again with a figure of 8 knot, in by the back of the eye of the hook, over your index finger once, twice, and through the loops. Alright, and then you will have your figure of 8 over there. You pull tight, lubricate him, and you pull him fast, going nowhere. And then for my second hook, or the trap hook, or the scallop hook, whatever you call it, it's entirely your preference whether you want to tie your hook down or if you want to leave it loose. I leave my hook loose because when I'm fishing, especially with worm, depending on the length of the worm, I can move this hook where I want to. So I leave him loose, right? And then obviously I put on my flotation. This is the capsule float. And then I just take a toothpick, I tuck a sticky in, and I tie him down. And there we go. Done. Is very simple. So that is the double J hook trace with flotation, and this is the trace that I scratch with, or throw with steenbras, Bellman, whatever the case may be. So yeah, that's done. And then lastly, the Hooked by Hairs competition for the hoodie is still running. So if you guys didn't enter, go into the video where the description says giveaway, and just go comment hashtag Hooked by Hairs. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and you will then be eligible to win the prize. And that draw will take place at the end of October. Thanks, guys. If there are anything else you guys want me to do a video about, please pop me a message, let me know, and I will gladly do so. I hope that this video was informative and everybody could learn something from it. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, goodbye.